hours to time out what is ahead. And there is a lot ahead out there, including, of course, that risk for the severe storms. Then we got an area of snow that's going to be working its way across the country as well. A lot of areas will be impacted by the storm system.
Yeah, it's pretty much a coast-to-coast storm. We saw it yesterday in Arizona and New Mexico, picking up double-digit snow in Arizona, and we'll be watching for potentially some double-digit snow in a few spots, maybe locally heavy. We'll get to all of that. We've got this big system prompting alerts across 1,900 miles. Some bigger totals, too. So I want to take you into our virtual view of St. Louis here at Keener Plaza to talk more about what we're going to get, because, you know, a little cloudy today, then the rain moves in. We start with rain, but we transition to snowfall. The colder air will be coming in. We will be watching for that transition, and let's talk about the potential for totals, because here in St. Louis, we've got a range, and we potentially could get up there, especially on the south side of town, getting up over 5 or 6 inches of snow. It depends on the exact storm track as to where we watch the biggest snowfall track, and it does look like it's going to be south and east of town. But again, 5 or 6 inches is a big snow for us. A couple years ago, we picked up 7.8. That was in 2019. But, you know, most of the time in the Midwest, you just don't have that direct access to moisture. And so unless you have a really vigorous low pressure, like we're expecting to track on through here, that's when you get into the bigger snowfall rates. And that's when you get into the bigger totals, which is we are extending our day to help you get through yours.
That's right. The Weather Channel is going to be with you into the evening hours to time out what is ahead. And there is plenty ahead, and a lot of folks that will be impacted.
We've already seen double-digit snowfall in the southwest, even snow all the way down to the desert in Arizona.
Yeah, someone just messaged me, palm trees and frost should not be a thing that exists, but they're seeing
Agree, but it's happening. We want to take you into all of it. We've got a big system all night long, actually, in parts of Texas. It's on the move. I want to take you into what's next. Columbus, Ohio. So our forecast is a little more complicated here because we're going to be battling that rain-snow line. Today is a dry day in Columbus, but we'll see those clouds starting to thicken up, and then we'll see some rain pushing in, and then we'll see a changeover to snow. How that all plays out is all part of the forecast challenge that we're looking at. We get into some snow here in Columbus as we get through the overnight, and then tomorrow morning, I think, is when that rush hour really becomes problematic. So let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast here. We've got your timing going on here, where we start with snow tomorrow morning, and that'll actually start overnight, but then we keep that going through the morning commute. Then we get it mixing with some rain. And it's all about that rain-snow line. Are going to be right on the edge of it. So it may be just south of us. It may be just over us here in Columbus. But then we are back to all snow by late evening. And the evening commute could be dicey depending on if you're a later commuter or not. But, you know, for the most part, it should just be wet, then to snow. And then Thursday, we keep the snow showers going here as the upper level low moves over the area. Let me show you how it plays out graphically. We've got our low pressure that will be moving from Texas, moving up here through the Mississippi Valley into the Midwest, and then eventually into the Northeast. So it's just north and west of the track of the low is where the biggest snow will fall. So you see where that lines up across Illinois. We get that through Indiana, right here into parts of Ohio. And not too far from Columbus, there we are, looking at some of the bigger totals. We are going to be on that edge of that rain snow during some of the time frame, though, and that's why that'll cut down a little bit on just how much snow we can get there. Under a winter weather advisory in Columbus, winter storm warning, though, across western parts of Ohio and northern, too, including around Toledo. We also have the winter storm warnings through much of central Indiana, including Indianapolis. Winter storm warning for St. Louis, for Springfield in Missouri, and the snowfall will be adding up here on the order of 5 to 8 inches, where we do have that biggest swath, those biggest totals, the highest snowfall rates. A lot of it coming down through the overnight at those biggest rates, but then continuing throughout the day. The good thing about the timing is for the commute home today, for most of you, it's not going to be a problem. I mean, even in Springfield, I think the snow begins, but temperatures are still mild enough. But then very quickly, it does get colder, so you're looking at that problem. And then overnight is when the rain changes to snow in St. Louis and Indianapolis. And so you wake up on Wednesday morning, this is 4 a.m., it's snowing, and so hopefully that does help decide on your commute that maybe you won't be traveling tomorrow as we deal with the snow on the roadways. Let's go back to the severe side of this whole story.